Have you ever wondered why the man who once loved you deeply now seems so distant? I emphasize, have you ever truly asked yourself this? Marriage is a long journey filled with many emotions, from the passionate early days to the challenges that come with time. Many couples realize that as the years go by, the warmth they once had starts to fade, replaced by indifference, distance, or even frustration. This raises a big question. Why do husbands grow distant from their wives as they age? This change doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of many factors accumulating over time, from life's pressures to physical changes and shifts in emotional connection. Some believe love simply fades, but in reality, the root of the problem lies in how couples interact and nurture their relationship. So, how can we understand the reasons behind these changes? And more importantly, how can we keep the spark alive in marriage, even as the years go by? Let's explore the 9 main reasons behind this shift, with number 3 and number 8 being particularly significant, and discover practical solutions to restore connection and lasting happiness. And here, you don't need to like or subscribe, but if you find this content valuable, share your story or simply type number 9, because sometimes one small action can help someone find exactly what they need. Now, let's dive into the reasons behind this change. Number 1. Changes in physical attraction. As time passes, physical changes in both partners are inevitable. While aging is natural, it can sometimes affect a husband's feelings toward his wife. In the early stages of marriage, physical attraction plays a significant role. However, as the years go by, that initial excitement may fade. Factors such as weight gain, health issues, and natural aging signs, like wrinkles and graying hair, can contribute to a shift in perception. However, physical attraction isn't solely about appearance. Energy, vitality, and self-care also play crucial roles. If a husband focuses only on his wife's external changes rather than appreciating her personality and shared experiences, dissatisfaction can grow. The key is to maintain both emotional and physical intimacy by focusing on the whole person, not just outward appearances. Number 2. Communication breakdown. One of the most common reasons relationships suffer is poor communication. Over time, as couples become comfortable with each other, meaningful conversations often decrease. Misunderstandings, unresolved conflicts, and a lack of emotional expression create distance between partners. Husbands may feel neglected if they believe their wives are not paying attention to their needs, desires, and feelings. Similarly, wives may feel emotionally unfulfilled, thinking their husbands are no longer invested in the relationship. The result? A widening emotional gap, even while living under the same roof. Rebuilding communication is essential. Regular check-ins, open discussions, and making an effort to understand each other's perspectives can help restore connection. Number 3. Routine and stagnation. Marriage can sometimes fall into a predictable routine, where excitement fades and everyday responsibilities take over. Over time, passion can be replaced by mundane tasks such as raising children, managing finances, and maintaining a home. When couples stop putting effort into nurturing their relationship, they risk taking each other for granted. A wife who once brought excitement may start feeling more like a roommate or business partner than a romantic companion. This environment can lead to resentment and emotional distance. Breaking out of the routine is essential. Regular date nights, new activities, and setting shared goals can help reignite the spark. Number 4. The impact of parenthood. Parenting is life-changing and can significantly alter the dynamic of a marriage. Raising children introduces new stresses and responsibilities, which often fall unevenly on one partner. In many cases, women take on the majority of childcare and household duties, leaving little time for emotional intimacy. As a wife's attention shifts toward the children, a husband may feel neglected. Additionally, the role of mother can sometimes overshadow a wife's identity as a partner, leading to feelings of disconnection. Prioritizing the marriage alongside parenting is crucial. Scheduling time together, maintaining communication, and sharing responsibilities can help prevent imbalance. Number 5. Unmet emotional needs. Emotional intimacy is a critical part of any relationship. When a husband feels his emotional needs are not being met, he may grow distant. Over the years, couples can become complacent, assuming their love will always be understood without explicit expression. However, this can lead to feelings of neglect. If a wife is preoccupied with work, family obligations, or personal stress, she may unintentionally overlook her husband's emotional needs. This can cause him to feel unimportant, unloved, and disconnected. Restoring emotional closeness requires open conversations, expressions of affection, and support during difficult times. Number 6. Unresolved conflicts. Lingering conflicts that go unresolved can build up resentment over time. Whether it's disagreements over finances, household responsibilities, or personal issues, unresolved tension creates emotional distance. Avoiding conflict may seem like the easier path, but suppressing issues only prolongs discomfort. A husband who feels his concerns are ignored may harbor resentment, gradually pulling away from his wife. Healthy conflict resolution, addressing problems as they arise, discussing feelings constructively, and compromising when necessary, can help restore harmony in the relationship. Number 7. Midlife crisis. As people approach middle age, they may experience a period of self-reflection. A husband might question his happiness, past decisions, or overall fulfillment in life. This can lead to dissatisfaction in marriage, as he may feel unfulfilled by his relationship. During this time, a husband may view his wife differently or struggle with internal doubts. Navigating a midlife crisis requires open communication, emotional support, and sometimes professional guidance. Personal growth doesn't have to conflict with a healthy marriage. It can enhance it. Number 8. External stresses. Work stress, financial difficulties, health issues, or personal loss can put strain on a marriage. When overwhelmed by external pressures, a husband may become emotionally unavailable, less patient, or more irritable, leading to disconnection. A wife who feels unsupported may also withdraw emotionally, believing her husband is too preoccupied with his struggles. Couples can counteract these stresses by supporting each other, remaining a team, and offering empathy and encouragement during tough times. Number 9. Lack of appreciation. Feeling unappreciated can create significant tension. If a husband feels his contributions go unnoticed, he may begin to resent his wife. Similarly, if a wife assumes her efforts are understood without acknowledgement, the relationship may suffer. A husband who works long hours or takes on additional responsibilities may feel frustrated if his efforts are not recognized. Expressing gratitude through words or small gestures can go a long way in fostering a positive, loving connection. Now that we have explored the main reasons why husbands grow distant over time, it's time to focus on solutions. How can couples rebuild connection, reignite intimacy, and navigate these challenges together? Here are some key strategies. Number 1. Prioritize open communication. Communication lies at the core of any thriving relationship. It's often the absence of real, honest conversation that leads to misunderstandings, frustrations, and emotional disconnection. When partners stop truly listening to one another, it's easy for resentment to build, and feelings of being unheard or unappreciated to take root. One of the most effective ways to address this is to dedicate time regularly for open, honest discussions. These conversations should go beyond surface-level topics. They should explore feelings, needs, and concerns in a way that fosters vulnerability and mutual understanding. It's not just about talking, but listening with intent. Real communication requires active listening, where each partner gives their undivided attention, seeks to understand, and avoids interrupting. When partners take time to genuinely listen, it creates an environment where both feel heard, validated, and respected. This helps to resolve misunderstandings and avoid conflicts from escalating. Regular check-ins can create a rhythm of emotional connection, where both partners feel that they are a priority in each other's lives. Number 2. Reignite the relationship. In long-term relationships, it's easy to fall into a routine. The initial excitement fades, and the relationship can start to feel stagnant or monotonous. While routines can provide a sense of security and stability, they can also dampen the passion and connection that once existed. To reignite the spark, couples need to intentionally break out of their daily patterns and create new experiences together. This could be as simple as scheduling regular date nights, planning weekend getaways, or trying something new that neither partner has experienced before. Shared hobbies and activities can also be a wonderful way to bond and rediscover the joy that brought them together in the first place. The key is to make space for fun, adventure, and novelty in the relationship. Even small changes, like trying a new restaurant or taking a different route on a walk, can bring fresh energy to the relationship. Reigniting the relationship doesn't necessarily mean drastic changes. It's about actively investing in creating new, meaningful experiences together. Number 3. Emotional reconnection. While physical intimacy is often seen as the cornerstone of marriage, emotional intimacy plays an equally crucial role. Over time, couples can fall into the trap of taking each other for granted. They may assume that their partner knows how much they are loved, appreciated, and valued. However, without intentional effort, the emotional bond can weaken. This is where the power of small, consistent acts of love and appreciation comes into play. Simple gestures like a thoughtful compliment, a hug, a kiss, or a surprise note can have a profound impact on the emotional connection. A well-timed "I love you," or a reminder of how much your partner means to you, can reignite feelings of affection and closeness. Acts of kindness, whether in the form of words or actions, serve as daily reminders that both partners are cherished and cared for. It's easy to take our partners for granted when life gets busy, but nurturing the emotional connection requires deliberate acts of affection. These small gestures may seem insignificant at the moment, but over time, they compound to create a deeply rooted emotional intimacy that is the bedrock of a lasting relationship. Number 4. Support each other through challenges. Marriage isn't just about the good times. It's about how partners navigate the inevitable challenges that life throws at them. Every relationship will face stress, whether it's financial strain, health problems, or personal losses. What defines the strength of a relationship is how both partners handle these pressures together. Being there for one another in times of hardship, showing empathy, and offering reassurance are crucial to building resilience within the marriage. When one partner is struggling, the other's role is not to solve the problem, but to offer support, understanding, and a safe space to express vulnerability. Simply saying, "I'm here for you," can make a world of difference when someone is feeling overwhelmed or uncertain. Sharing challenges also fosters deeper intimacy, as it allows both partners to witness each other's vulnerabilities and strengths. The ability to handle stress together can strengthen the foundation of a marriage, and over time, it helps build a partnership that can weather any storm. Number 5. Practice gratitude and appreciation. One of the simplest yet most powerful ways to nurture a relationship is to practice gratitude. Feeling valued and appreciated is essential for both partners to feel that they are contributing to the relationship in a meaningful way. When partners fail to express their appreciation for each other's efforts, it can lead to feelings of neglect or being taken for granted. This can erode the connection and lead to dissatisfaction. Taking the time to regularly express gratitude for both the small and big contributions can foster a culture of appreciation. This could be as simple as saying "thank you for making dinner," or acknowledging your partner's hard work in their career. Celebrating the little things, such as remembering to take out the trash or helping with household chores, can reinforce the idea that both partners are equals in the relationship and that their efforts matter. Gratitude not only strengthens emotional bonds, but also creates a positive, loving environment where both partners feel valued and seen. Number 6. Rebuild trust. Trust is the foundation of any strong marriage. Without trust, there is no safety, no emotional intimacy, and no true partnership. Unfortunately, trust can be broken, whether through infidelity, dishonesty, or a breach of confidence. While rebuilding trust takes time and effort, it is possible with consistent, deliberate actions. The key to rebuilding trust is to start with transparency. This means being open, honest, and accountable for one's actions. It's also crucial to be patient with each other and avoid placing blame. Instead, both partners should focus on working together to heal and rebuild the bond. Setting clear boundaries and being reliable and consistent over time can help restore the feeling of security in the relationship. While it may take time, the process of rebuilding trust can actually strengthen the bond between partners, creating a deeper sense of commitment and understanding. Number 7. Invest in personal growth. In a healthy marriage, Both partners continue to grow as individuals. While it's important to nurture the relationship, it's equally essential to nurture personal growth. When partners stop growing individually, they may begin to feel stuck, unfulfilled, or disconnected. Encouraging each other's personal development, whether it's pursuing new hobbies, furthering education, or setting new goals, can add depth and excitement to the relationship. Supporting each other's dreams and aspirations fosters a sense of mutual respect and admiration. It's also important to recognize that personal growth within a marriage doesn't mean growing apart. Rather, it's about growing together and learning to support each other's journeys. A couple that values and encourages individual growth is more likely to experience a lasting and fulfilling relationship, as both partners feel supported and challenged to become their best selves. Number 8. Keep the physical intimacy alive. Physical intimacy is an essential part of a healthy marriage. Over time, however, it can fade if couples are not intentional about keeping it alive. The physical connection, whether through sex, kissing, or simply holding hands, reinforces emotional intimacy and strengthens the bond. Keeping physical intimacy alive requires conscious effort, especially when life gets busy or stress levels rise. It's important to make time for physical touch and intimacy, even in the midst of a hectic schedule. The act of physically connecting, through a hug, a kiss, or a touch, helps maintain closeness and strengthens the emotional connection. Regular intimacy doesn't just enhance physical pleasure, it deepens the emotional bond and creates a sense of security and affection within the marriage. Number 9. Foster a sense of partnership. A strong marriage is built on the sense that both partners are in it together as a team. When couples see themselves as partners, they approach challenges and decisions as a unified front. This sense of partnership requires mutual respect, understanding, and a willingness to work together towards common goals. It's important for both partners to feel like equal contributors to the relationship, whether it's in household chores, financial decisions, or raising children. This partnership also extends to emotional support. When one partner is going through a difficult time, the other partner should step up as an equal teammate, offering encouragement and support. Creating a team mentality helps both partners feel that they are supported and that they can rely on each other, no matter what life throws their way. Example in daily life. Imagine this. Your partner prepares your favorite meal after a long and exhausting day. Instead of just enjoying it in silence, take a moment to acknowledge their effort. You could say, "I really appreciate you making this. It means a lot to me." Small gestures like this help strengthen emotional connection and make both partners feel valued. By focusing on these meaningful actions, couples can rebuild intimacy, restore trust, and create a fulfilling marriage that lasts. A strong relationship doesn't just happen. It requires continuous effort, and every small step makes a difference. Marriage changes over time, and that's completely natural. Challenges will come, but they don't have to create distance or dissatisfaction. With awareness, effort, and intentional actions, couples can navigate these transitions and come out stronger. Keeping communication open, staying emotionally connected, and continuously investing in the relationship are key. Love isn't just about the early days of passion. It's about the ongoing commitment to growing and understanding each other. A fulfilling, lasting marriage isn't about perfection. It's about two people choosing to adapt, appreciate, and actively nurture their bond every day. The little choices we make, how we listen, how we show care, how we support each other, those are what build trust, love, and respect over time. Out of the 9 reasons we discussed, which one resonates with you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you found value in this, type number 9, because sometimes one small action can help someone find exactly what they need. Have you ever felt that leaving the house no longer feels exciting, but instead just drains your energy? When I was younger, I loved going here and there, visiting friends, family, even stopping by the neighbor's house for a quick chat. But now, let's just say my couch and I have developed a deep and meaningful relationship. It's not that I don't love people. I truly cherish my relationships. But over time, I realized that not every visit brings joy. Some leave me smiling, while others leave me completely exhausted, wondering, is this still worth it? Today, I want to share 7 stories, moments that made me realize that saying no, thanks, I'll stay home, isn't about isolation. It's about choosing peace. And story number 2 and number 6 might just surprise you, because sometimes the smallest things change the way we see everything. So, grab a cup of tea, find a comfortable seat, and let's go on this little journey together. Who knows? By the end, you might just see why I prefer my slippers over my visiting shoes. Number 1. The endless staircase struggle. Mr. Richard, a 72-year-old man, had always enjoyed visiting friends. He valued deep conversations, the warmth of familiar company, and the small joy of catching up over coffee. But one particular visit changed everything. His old friend George had just moved into a beautiful 3-story house. From the outside, it was stunning, elegant, spacious, and filled with charm. When George invited Richard over to see it, he happily agreed, not realizing what awaited him inside. The moment he stepped in, he was met with a long, winding staircase. George, filled with excitement, clapped him on the back and said, "Come on, let me show you around." Richard, not wanting to seem rude, smiled and followed. The first few steps were manageable, but as they climbed higher, something changed. His breathing grew heavier, his legs felt stiff, and suddenly, the simple act of walking up the stairs felt like a mountain climb. He didn't want to show his discomfort, so he forced himself to keep up, even as his heart pounded in his chest. By the time they reached the 2nd floor, Richard felt like he had just finished a marathon. He discreetly placed a hand on the railing, pretending to admire the view while secretly catching his breath. But George, he was already halfway up to the 3rd floor, chatting away, completely unaware of Richard's silent struggle. As Richard finally made it to the top, he collapsed onto the nearest chair, barely hearing George's enthusiastic words about the view. Instead, he was focused on the realization that his body wasn't what it used to be. The stairs had defeated him, and it was a humbling, sobering moment. That night, as he got home and eased into his favorite chair, he made a quiet decision. No more multi-story house visits. It wasn't worth the struggle, the embarrassment, or the exhaustion that followed. Aging comes with changes, some small, some undeniable. Climbing stairs that once seemed effortless now felt like an uphill battle. And that's okay. From that day forward, when friends invited him over, he asked a simple question: "Do you have stairs?" If the answer was yes, he politely declined, not out of laziness, but because he had learned to respect his body's limits. Key lesson: as we age, our bodies change, and that's nothing to be ashamed of. There is no reason to push beyond our limits just to please others. If something feels exhausting, uncomfortable, or even unsafe, it's okay to say no. Prioritizing your comfort and well-being isn't giving up. It's adapting to life in a way that allows you to truly enjoy it. Number 2. The tea that wasn't tea. Mrs. Margaret, a 74-year-old woman, had always loved the ritual of tea time. A warm cup, a quiet afternoon, and good conversation. What could be better? She had spent years enjoying these simple pleasures with friends, savoring the comfort of familiar flavors like Earl Grey or chamomile. But one visit changed the way she felt about tea forever. One crisp autumn afternoon, Margaret decided to visit her old neighbor, Betty, who had recently invited her over for a special tea. Betty was known for being a kind but slightly eccentric hostess, always experimenting with new things. Margaret, expecting a cozy chat and a familiar cup of tea, happily accepted the invitation. As soon as she arrived, Betty ushered her into the living room with a bright smile. Sit down, sit down. I've made something wonderful for us," she beamed, disappearing into the kitchen. Margaret settled into the couch, looking forward to the soothing warmth of a perfectly brewed cup. A few moments later, Betty returned with 2 steaming mugs. Margaret picked up hers, inhaling deeply, only to immediately realize something was off. Instead of the gentle, fragrant aroma of tea, there was a strange, almost medicinal sweetness in the air. Still, not wanting to be rude, Margaret took a sip. Her taste buds instantly revolted. The liquid was thick, overly sweet, and had an odd bitterness that lingered long after she swallowed. She barely stopped herself from grimacing. "Betty, dear," she said carefully, forcing a polite smile. "This is different. What kind of tea is this?" Betty clapped her hands together excitedly. "Oh, it's prune juice. I thought you'd love it." Margaret nearly choked. "Prune juice." She set the mug down quickly, trying to compose herself. She wanted to be gracious, but in that moment, all she could think about was how desperately she wanted her familiar cup of tea instead of this strange, syrupy concoction. As she sat there, nodding along to Betty's cheerful conversation, she realized something. This was not the relaxing, comforting visit she had envisioned. Instead of enjoying her favorite ritual, she was trapped in a battle of politeness versus her taste buds. That night, as she returned home, she let out a sigh of relief. She walked straight to her kitchen, brewed herself the perfect cup of Earl Grey, and took a slow, satisfying sip. It was heaven, and that was the moment she made a quiet decision. From now on, tea time would happen on her own terms. Key lesson: visiting others can mean stepping into unexpected, sometimes uncomfortable situations. While it's nice to be polite, we shouldn't feel obligated to endure things that don't bring us joy. Sometimes the best company is our own, with a cup of tea brewed exactly the way we like it. Number 3. No more patience for meaningless gossip. Mrs. Eleanor, a 76-year-old woman, used to love the excitement of a good conversation. There was a time when sitting down with friends, sharing stories, and catching up on the latest news felt like a lively, enjoyable way to connect. But something changed over the years. One afternoon, Eleanor decided to visit an old acquaintance, Linda, whom she hadn't seen in a while. She thought it would be a chance to reminisce, to talk about life, family, and maybe even share some laughs over old memories. But the moment she sat down in Linda's living room, she sensed something was off. The conversation quickly took a turn. Instead of catching up on meaningful moments, Linda dove straight into gossip. Who gained weight? Who was having problems in their marriage? Who wasn't speaking to whom? At first, Eleanor nodded along, pretending to be interested, but she could feel her energy draining with every word. It wasn't light-hearted talk. It was judgment, negativity, and constant criticism of others. Every sentence seemed to focus on someone's mistakes, their flaws, their misfortunes. As Eleanor sat there, staring into her untouched cup of coffee, a deep realization hit her. This was not the kind of conversation she wanted to have anymore. She thought about how precious time had become. At this stage in life, every day was a gift, and she didn't want to waste another second engaging in negativity. She wanted to spend her time talking about things that mattered, about joy, about books, about memories that made her smile, about the things that still made life beautiful. So, she did something she had never done before. She cut the visit short. She stood up, politely excused herself, and walked out into the fresh air. As she breathed deeply, she felt lighter, as if she had left behind a weight she didn't even realize she had been carrying. That day, she made a quiet but powerful decision. She was done with meaningless, draining conversations. If a visit wasn't uplifting, nourishing, or at least enjoyable, she simply wouldn't stay. She had earned the right to be selective with her time and energy. Key lesson: as we grow older, our time and energy become more valuable than ever. There's no reason to spend them on negativity, on gossip, or on conversations that leave us feeling worse than when we arrived. If a conversation doesn't enrich your life, it's okay to walk away. Choose peace, choose meaningful moments, and most importantly, choose yourself. Number 4. Every visit feels like a trap. Mr. Henry, a 74-year-old man, had always been someone who valued friendships. He enjoyed catching up with old friends, reminiscing about the past, and sharing stories over a cup of coffee. But as he got older, he realized something frustrating. Some visits were never just a quick catch-up anymore. They felt like a trap. It all started with a seemingly harmless afternoon visit to his old friend, Frank. They had planned for a short coffee break, maybe an hour or so, just enough time to chat, and then head home for some quiet relaxation. But from the moment Henry walked through the door, he felt the invisible ropes tightening around him. Frank was overjoyed to see him, too overjoyed. "Oh, you can't leave just yet," Stay for lunch." Henry, being polite, agreed. After all, what was an extra hour? Then, after lunch came... The next part of this video is now available on my channel.